Sometimes Carter Elliott is right. This would be one of those times. And you deserve, I think, a lot of flowers for maybe having the best feel in terms of a prediction on how a game would go in the 5 years that we've done this. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it was a weird preview. I know everyone knows this. You had my brain doing a carousel. You said Michigan State was better than Kentucky. When I asked you to explain why you were so confident in that, you didn't really give me an answer. I think I know what you meant now. After watching that game in full, you were tweeting ominously as it happened. You said you smelled some things. But I just want to say, before we get into all of this, we're probably going to talk for an hour knowing us. I'm amazed at how dialed you were on this. You looked me in the eyes and said, Greg, Michigan State's better than Kentucky. Just wait. You were right. It was a dog walking. So I know you enjoyed this. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. But to start this, Cart, take your damn flowers.
Listen, I want to actually talk a great amount of basketball on this recap, and I plan on doing that, and I'm going to enjoy doing so. But I am going to take about 37 seconds to put on the victory shades and talk a little something real quick here. Now, let's make something very, very clear as far as how this was supposed to go. It was Kentucky this, it was $22 million roster that, it was Mark Pope offense, it was back cuts, it was gratitude. Greg, at the end of the day, sometimes you got to strap your nuts up and get a stop. That's what basketball is about. Listen, I always am the one to say put the 10-foot thing in the orange thing. But God rest my assistant coach, Massey. He always told me sometimes you got to strap your nuts up, son, and get a stop. And Kentucky wasn't ready to do that. And I don't want to hear anything about, oh, it's just Michigan State making shots. That's what it is. They're Division One basketball players. If you're going to be playing like it's a walkthrough on air, guys are going to make shots and guys are going to feel better about themselves. We physically dominated them. They didn't want to be there. They weren't up to play for it. And I can't imagine being a Kentucky basketball player in a spot where you just lost to your rival on the road and you get to play in one of the most famous arenas of all time against a really good program in Michigan State, and you weren't ready for the challenge. You were not ready for the challenge. You didn't want to play. You did not want to hoop. Word to Cam Ward, they don't work hard. And that's how we end up with a victory, a resounding one at that. Y'all didn't even want to play. I'm honestly a little disgusted. I was trying to see a good basketball game. They didn't want to play. What's that about? Aren't y'all Kentucky? Aren't y'all good? Insane behavior. Good win by the boys in green. Let's talk basketball.
All right, we're going to get into it. But again, I do not think this was the consensus take coming in. Maybe it should have been. I really kind of, I don't want to say clowned you, but I made sure we stopped that preview to be like, Cart, what are you doing?
Mhm.
Kentucky is better than Michigan State. Clearly, that was wrong by me. And you had this dialed from the jump. You deserve credit for that because we get a lot of stuff wrong. We get a lot of stuff right too. That's about as right as I've ever seen you. I mean, you looked the analytics in the eye and said, I don't see it with that team. Just wait. And you were just 100% right.
Listen, Lifetime Record Analytics own me, right? But it does feel good to get this one. I feel like I caught analytics getting a little fat and happy, and I was able to take advantage of it. But let's not let's. I have Ken Palm up right now in 9 different tabs on my right side. I'm still pro analytics with it, but it feels good to get a win over them. That's all.
So we have made a concerted effort in recaps this year to start with the team that wins. That is the
Mhm.
goal. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Trust me, I have a lot of Kentucky based thoughts as well on what we saw on the court and then what we saw off the court after from their head coach, who is just emotionally a wreck after two losses in November. We'll talk through it all. I think we're going to have like four different breakout videos about things from the press conferences from this game. So we're going to cover this in full. But let's start with what Michigan State did on the court in this game. Jeremy Fears, 13 assists and two turnovers. He was the Ken Palm MVP. Amazing. He controlled everything. He was the puppet master in this game. Along with him, Jackson Kohler with 20 points, only 5 rebounds for Kohler, which was shocking. I would have guessed he had 15 based on the eye test, but his scoring was for real. He was making shots from outside early, and he was just the best offensive player on the court, I think, on either team. Trey Fort and Kerr Tang combined 28 points in 36 minutes, six made threes. if you knew that the shooting guard spot's breakout game was coming in Madison Square Garden, good on you. I don't know who expected this, even people that thought Michigan State would win this game. That was crazy. And kudos to them for seeing this through after a really frustrating start and vocal criticism from their coach and their fans. Both guys were amazing. It's exactly what you wanted offensively from the shooting guard spot. All in all, you add this up as a team, which again, this is similar to last year, the way we're going to talk Michigan State. It very much feels like a group effort. I mean, as good as Kohler was and Fears' passing was, the story of this was how connected this group was as a group. And the fact that they totaled a game where they made 50% of their threes, 11 for 22. They made 80% from the line, 8 for 10. They out rebound Kentucky 42 to 28. They out assist Kentucky 25 to 13. Basically, in every possible facet, Michigan State was better than the Kentucky Wildcats. Who were you most impressed with?
I mean, look, I feel like you got to start by giving flowers to the two guard spot. I think it's been early on one of the more maligned positions on this basketball team. And I thought in one of the biggest moments of the season early on, Kurtang really stepped up. 12 shot attempts in this game, by the way, too. He started to feel really good about himself. He started to feel really good about himself. He started coming off those pin downs and down screens. He had the nice little pump fake action, little sidestep left, even hit like a bait. Once he hit that baseline fade at the end of the half, I was like, okay, Kerr's starting to feel himself a little bit. And then Trey Fort, in that same token, was able to really, knock down some timely shots. He got 8 3-point attempts up in this game. Michigan State shot 50% from three as a team, made 11. That's crazy to see. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we talk about Kentucky's defense, once we get to them. But yeah, I think you got to start with the two spot. You mentioned what Fears was able to do as well. Just controlled everything in this game. 13 assists to 2 turnovers. He had the lobs. He had the passes. He hit guys in good spots. And then also Jackson Kohler. Just look Mo Diabate, look Brandon Garrison, look Malachi Moreno dead in their eyes and said, your front court's not good enough. You can't, you're not good enough to check me. Truthfully. And, the one thing I would say is, Jackson, we got to be better when we're getting double teamed. But besides that, just a guy that works hard, finishes, good footwork, knocks down 2 threes in this basketball game, and an MSG gives Kentucky's front court 20-5. Just a
Yeah.
special performance by him.
Yeah, it was. Here's the thing. Other than 50% from three, which is obviously special for this team, it's
Special for any team, to be honest. 50% from three.
sure, right,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think most good teams will have like the hot shooting night,
Yeah, yeah.
once a month or something. But like,
Mm.
I don't know if Michigan State's going to do this again. They're capable. I'm not saying they're not, but it wasn't the story of the game. But I understand how people can watch this and be like, that was out of body. That's not going to happen again. Even if it doesn't happen again, here's sort of my conclusion from this. This was an ass whooping. This was a dog walking of epic proportions in every possible facet of this game. Michigan State was better than Kentucky, and they deserved to make shots because they generated great shots. Every three they got was largely wide open. I think Kurt Tang had like the tough fadeaway two over Otega Owe. Okay, that one was a little crazy. I can
Yeah.
see why people would be like, what's going on there? Everything else was a great shot that Jeremy Fears created. Guys were open. Kentucky's defense was terrible. Physically, Michigan State dominated. And I guess the thing that would excite me most if I'm a Michigan State fan, again, the shooting is one thing that might not be sustainable. Everything else in this game is like 100% repeatable. And correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but like it, to me, Michigan State played great. I don't want to say they didn't. I'm not trying to imply they didn't. But there was nothing out of body about the way they played, other than the fact that some shots went in. If you want to say the shooting guard had an out of body night, fine. Jackson Kohler can do this
Hmm.
all the time. In fact, he probably should. Jeremy Fears is doing this every time he steps on the floor. This was a perfectly average Cohen Carr game. He
Hmm.
was barely involved. Carson Cooper had 2 points on 7 shots. And it still felt like he dominated Brandon Garrison because of what he did on the boards. Like the bench, again, Kurtang 15 off the bench. That was the out of body part. Cam Ward was just Cam Ward. Jordan Scott did not go crazy. Jesse
Mhm.
McCulloch had two really bright moments. He hit two jumpers. He had 8 points in 9 minutes. That's cool. Again, maybe you put that in the category of like how likely is that to happen again. But the point is
Right.
this: Michigan State Stars didn't do anything crazy. They
Mhm.
did what they're supposed to do. And there was a business-like approach to it of just like, we're going to do what we do. What are you talking about? They can't keep up with this. It's totally redefining the way I view this team. Because in my head, this was like a high floor, low ceiling team. The team I watched in this game, pretty high ceiling to me. I mean, I know we have questions on what Kentucky is, but I don't know how often this year Kentucky's just going to get blitzed like that.
Right. I mean, it wasn't a squeak by. It was, to your point, it was an ass whooping in every category of the basketball game.
Yeah.
And look, I know I came on here and I was like, Michigan State's a better basketball team. Despite Mark Pope damn near in tears after the game, this Kentucky team is still a good like they're a good basketball team. To do that to them is something that's very impressive. And I do like your point about the repeatable things about this. Like Jackson Kohler, like just that's what he's good. Jackson Kohler is good. Jackson Kohler has played 4 years in Michigan State. He has got better every year he's been there. He's good.
Yeah.
Fears is the ultimate just I mean, the name speaks. He's the floor general, man. That's what he does. He was orchestrating in this basketball game. Truthfully, the lobs, the even guys getting the ball coming off, come down. Like he was. What do you even say? The puppeteering. That's what he was doing with everything, just making sure everything went the way it should go. And everyone had moments in this game. Even like when Kentucky cut it to 10, Jesse McCullough hits a corner three. Like I think a lot of guys had big moments in this basketball game, including Cam Ward, like you stated too. We had more bench points than the deepest team in the country. Like it at every facet of the basketball game, Michigan State beat ass. And we locked down too on the other end.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be impressed, right? But I, I, I really am trying to just like reframe this team mentally because they're gonna I think they're gonna do this every game. Like I really do. And I'm not saying they're always gonna shoot 50%. They're not always gonna win by 20, but like they're going to be this tough of an out every single night because Jeremy Fears is tough as hell and is honestly probably the best passer in the country. Like, I don't know what we're supposed to do with this at this point. I keep tweeting about it. I feel like I'm the only person on earth talking about this. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to shatter whatever assist record is still there when he becomes a senior. And I know there's like a long way to go here, but like game in and game out, I mean, he had 13 assists in this game. He's had 9, 9, and 10 in the other three games. Reminder, he's playing on a team that is supposed to, on paper, have no spacing. uh, this is better than any other point guard, including Braden Smith right now. He has a higher assist rate than Braden Smith right now.
He's like you said it. You've been screaming it for a while now, and I think other people say it too about how good. Like he's just an unreal top tier level god passer.
He has a 51% assist rate right now.
That's insane.
I and look, it's early, but it's not like he's surrounded with spacing, and it's obvious why this is. He's just the best passer in the country, and yeah, I guess I'll do my best to not like think 2 years down the line, but truly, I'm just watching the numbers he's putting up. It's staggering. If this kid just stays healthy and plays out his eligibility because he gets the extra year, like just looking at the moment in time, I tweeted the numbers through 52 games. Fears is 6 assists ahead of where Braden was through 52 games. The difference is game 52 for Braden was in February of his sophomore year. It's November of Fears' sophomore year because of the special circumstances here. He's going to have like 30 more games at this than Braden does, and he's already ahead of him. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what you do with this, let alone he hasn't even played with the spacing he has. I just don't think enough people are talking about this. And I know I've had a love hate relationship with Fears' game through the years. I advocated for him going to the bench a lot early in the season last year. he's the entire Michigan State team this year. He's what makes this team special. He's amazing. I don't think you would take any other point guard in the country running the show over him. And it's hard not to get excited about both this year and the years to come when you get some of those freshman talents in here.
Yeah, it feels good. That's my PG. It feels good. It feels good to have a PG on your back. It brings a steady state of just calmness at times when you need it. And you know that guy's gonna play hard. You know he's gonna get the ball to the guys in the right spot. And can I take one out of Nate Oates' book real quick?
Yeah, but before we do, is it not fears related? Because I have one more fears thing.
It is Fears related.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to list players on Kentucky that my point guard out rebounded. Can I have a moment?
Please.
Otega Owe, Denzel Aberdeen, Colin Chandler, Brandon Garrison, Mo Diabate, Jasper Johnson, Cam Williams, Andre Yelovich, Trent Noah, Malachi Moreno.
Oh, damn,
And yes, and
that's
yes, that is
every
every
Kentucky player.
single Kentucky player that stepped foot in this basketball game.
Yep.
My point guard. Back to you.
Yeah, the funny thing, you could have also done that exercise with Cohen Carr and Jackson Kohler and Carson Cooper. Three other Michigan State starters also out rebounded the entire Kentucky team. But your point is made. It's a good one. Last bit of fears praise from me. I don't know if I said it in the preview, but like an hour before the game in the Discord, we were going back and forth, and somebody in the Michigan State channel tagged me and was like, "Can I get your actual thoughts?" And I said, "I think it's going to come down to point guard. Fears versus Aberdeen is what I'm watching." Denzel Aberdeen was 1 for 8 from the floor, 2 assists to 3 turnovers. Welcome to the Jeremy Fears experience.
Hmm.
Like, and look, there will be better guards that will put up more of a fight than that. But Denzel Aberdeen had nothing in this game. He's not good enough to look Jeremy Fears in the eyes and lead an offense. And there won't be many in the country that are. You just say what you want. There are still some flaws in his game. He's working on them. And by the end of his career, they might just disappear. But I don't know that there's many, if any, you would rather like go into a war with. Like Jeremy Fears approaches each 40-minute basketball game like it's a front lines battle. And you just got to feel good about having that dude on your side every single night.
Yeah, and look, I think that goes for Michigan State as a team, and I kind of touched on that initially. You got to be mentally prepared to play this basketball team because I don't know if it's even me trying to like they will mentally break you if you're not ready to hoop. And Aberdeen wasn't ready, and that's crazy to see because Aberdeen is a guy who I believe in, and I think is a good player, and is a national champion and was a piece on a national championship team. He met Fears at center court in MSG, and it was a dog walking from that point on.
Yep. Um, you were down 5-0 in this game. Feels like light years ago.
Hmm.
You were so confident coming in. You were right. When you were down 5-0, was there any fear in your heart whatsoever as a Michigan State fan watching this game?
The Colin Chandler three was pretty deep and tough, and I was like, ugh, that I don't like that. The whole like back cutting portion of it, I was more so just mad at my team. Like, just stop letting them back cut. You're better. Like, I know Michigan State defense talked about this. Don't let this team back cut you to death. We're way too good for that. Let's not do that. But there was a moment when because that three he hit from the left wing, I thought
Deep.
was a pretty good hand, and it was deep, and I was like, damn it, not this, not a Colin Chandler game to put me out of like to, have everybody dunking on me. But outside of that, no, I was pretty cool, calm, and collected and happy this whole game.
The team was cool, calm, and collected. Like I know
Yeah.
I'm isolating 30 seconds into a game, but like down 5-0 in the Garden to a team like Kentucky can be a moment that tests you mentally and emotionally. And Michigan State was ready to respond right away. You tighten that up real quick. Everybody made shots for the first 4 minutes of this game. Was like wasn't it like 13-12?
Yeah, but like I think that, like I said, we'll talk Kentucky's defense. I don't know what it was. I know you even tweeted about it during the game. I'm like, dog, these are high major Division I basketball players. I know they're not like the best shooting team of all time, but it looked like walkthrough at a point where they're like, oh, here you go, set a down screen, come off, Kurtang, come off it, wipe your shoes, check the wind, do what you got to do. Like it's just it was open season
Yeah,
on
I think there's a lot wrong with the Kentucky defense, obviously, but in looking at this game specifically, I thought there was the game plan and then there was the execution individually from players. To me, they were both issues. I don't want to say one was bigger than the other, but the more concerning one long term for me would be the individual efforts and executions from the players. Like just
it.
eye test wise, no one on Kentucky was physically into this game. Even I would point to like there's 4 minutes left, and I'll give Jasper Johnson some credit on this. Jasper Johnson, guy trying to earn more minutes off the bench, was on the floor in the final 2, 3 minutes of this game. Michigan State had already put the human victory cigars in. Denim Wojcik was running point. Jasper Johnson was in his shorts. 5-star McDonald's All American, Jasper Johnson finally decided to get in a stance and down 20 say we're not going to be disrespected like this by giving Denim Wojcik the ball. The 3 possessions before that, Denzel Aberdeen just let Denim Wojcik walk the ball up court, gave him 5 feet of space like it was nothing. That was the whole game. Aberdeen was disengaged, I thought. This is the worst we've ever seen Otega Owe. Brandon Garrison is clueless and soft. Diabate is supposed to be this big time elite defender, and I just didn't notice his impact. So there's like those individual levels of like guys got to compete that I don't think we were seeing from Kentucky. But then there's also the game plan, which in this game, very clearly, the game plan was we're going to go under on everything, dare them to shoot. If they shoot, we're fine.
Hmm.
Now, I understand after a game where you go 11 for 22, it's very easy to be like, that was a shit game plan. How stupid are you? I don't think that was the wrong game plan.
Hmm.
What I would say is I think going forward, teams need to be player specific with that approach. You want to go under every Jeremy Fear screen? Do it. You want to go under every Cohen Carr screen? Do it. In fact, in one of the first possessions of this game, they like kind of rushed out to close out on Cohen and ended up giving a wide open Jackson Kohler three.
Hmm.
And as me, you know this, I'm sitting at home hate watching. I'm like, what are you doing? Like you know your personnel. There are guys on the Michigan State team you want to leave wide open, and there are guys you can't. Kurtang, Trey Fort, Jackson Kohler are the 3 you can't.
Right. And it was weird. Like they were like doubling Fears off the screen and like leaving Jackson at the top by himself.
Yeah.
And then when they did get, and then Diabate is closing out all wild, Jackson actually went by him. I remember hearing on the broadcast one time, he's like, basically, slow down. Like, why are you, someone said to him, like, stop closing out so fast.
Yeah.
It's just, it was bad execution, like you said.
Yeah. Which to me, again, I think like you should criticize both. But the idea of oh, why isn't Kentucky guarding us? Like I can understand why Mark Pope implemented that approach. I think there is
Mhm.
an element of this from Kentucky's side of like, damn, we're shocked they shot 50% from three. We wouldn't really change the way we guarded them. But that only holds up if the team's a lot more physical beyond it, and they weren't. And even if you were going to go under and try to dare guys to shoot, you're not daring Trey Fort to shoot. Like, what are we? Trey Fort was so comfortable in this game. That's the
Yeah.
one guy you don't want to be comfortable. So, and again, I can't imagine that was Pope's scout. I can't imagine Pope game plan to leave Trey Ford open in this game. But maybe he did, or maybe it was horrible execution. I don't really know. On the shooting, though, just to kind of wrap this up, because I feel like in the middle of the game, early, it was the Kentucky narrative of like they're making shots they're not supposed to. Why does this always happen? And then by the end of the game, everyone accepted like, okay, no, this was a dog walking. It wasn't just shooting. I don't
Mhm.
think there are any people out there right now, even Jimmy Jam doesn't believe this game was just about shooting. However, you shot 50%. This is a really poor shooting team. Still, I think we think that.
Mhm.
How much of that do you think was part of the result of this being a 17-point win?
You know, I think it obviously played a factor, just like, anytime you're able to hit threes, I think it helps you out a little bit, on both ends of the floor. But also, like, outside of that, we were 50% at the rim. I think even more than that. Maybe. No. 50% from 2-point range in this basketball game. So when we weren't getting open threes and open looks, we were getting dunks and layups and open mid-range shots. So um I'm not, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna come on here and be like that's repeatable, but I think there are like certain capable shooters on this basketball team, and they can give you one or two to where I'm just maybe hoping to find somewhat of a median where we're not making 1 3 a game.
Yeah,
I don't need 11. I don't need 11. But I really don't need one. Maybe just find something a little more average there.
I think both can be true, is what I would say. Like, you won this game in blowout fashion. I think at least in part due to the fact that some shots went in at an extra rate than you're supposed to. Now, I still
Hmm.
think Michigan State was going to win comfortably, even if you shot your season average, which is bad. But like, I'm just doing some quick mental math. This isn't how basketball works. But had you shot 6 for 22, 27% from three, you win this game by two.
Right.
So you didn't need to make shots to win the game at the rate you did. The fact that you did, like, here's how I would reframe this going forward. If Michigan State shoots 50% from three, I don't think anybody in the country beats you. I don't think that was the story of this game. But I just think Michigan State is so good at everything else. You're so dominant on the boards. You've got the best passer in the country. You've got an elite defense.
Hmm.
You make 50% of your threes. Who's beating that team?
Hold on though, you missed a variable though on this.
What's the
You
variable?
gotta do the Kentucky MC squared here. Um, if we miss more threes, we're also getting half of those back because
Right.
Because Garrison and them are on the floor.
Right, for sure. But
And
I
they
don't
got
know. And Izzo I think was he it was interesting to listen to him after this game, right? Cuz I heard two main themes from him. I heard like the immediate response, humble Tom Izzo of we're not that good. Like he literally kind of led with that. And every moment there was a microphone from him after this game, he was like, "Listen, we made a lot of shots. We're not that good. They missed a lot of shots. They're not that bad." Those are
Mhm.
his exact words. And I think to an extent, I believe that. Then I also heard him, like, 5 minutes later, hit well, there's a lot of programs out there where transfer portal recruiting is more important than winning, not at Michigan State. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like this simultaneous, like, see, I was right, mixed with, well, we're not that good. We made a lot of shots. So do you think both those are simultaneously true? Because I kind of do. I think the fact that this was a blowout was a little bit of an aberration shooting, but also Michigan State was going to win this game because of the culture, the toughness, the defense, everything that Kentucky is lacking.
Yeah, I think so. And look, I think the only little part of that makes me not be on the same page about that, and I think you made the point. It was guys that actually can hit shots hitting some. You know what I'm saying? Like if they got 4 threes from Cohen Carr or something like that, then maybe you feel a little bit like, okay, woe is me. But like it's guys that have at least in their time at some point shown they can knock down 3-point shots.
Okay, Kerr and Trey, yes. Jesse McCulloch and Cohen Carr combined to go 3 for 4 from three in this game.
That part. But I'm saying like, but can you throw Kohler in that mix as like a respectable?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Kohler, Trey, and Kerr can do this.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm fine with them. The McCullough threes would have pissed me off too,
Yeah.
especially the corner one. But I will say, you pointed this out during the game. The other one, what was Diabate doing? Jesse McCullough had time to change his shoes, think about it, and be like, well, I mean, well, also we're up right now, and these guys are don't want to play. Maybe I'll just knock this down.
Yeah, for sure. No, Jesse McCulloch was 0 for 1 from three in his career before this game.
Yeah, didn't expect him to turn to Adrian Payne in this game.
He goes 2 for 2 there wide open. So maybe this is a sign of things to come. Dare I say, reminded me of Xavier Booker a little bit. And I don't mean that as a bad thing to Michigan State fans, but like when I think back on Book's 2 years at Michigan State card, he largely did nothing his whole career. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden he'd be in Mackey Arena and he'd splash two threes.
Yeah, it was a little. I could see. Yeah, it definitely was something like
It's
that.
like this might be McCullough. He might do nothing for 2 months and then, oh, we're at MSG against Kentucky. Here's two threes.
Right.
Like,
That the game was it the game last year at Chrysler. Michigan went on a run at the end of the half, and Xavier Booker all of a sudden hits two threes from the left wing to cut it to like seven at halftime.
Yeah.
And it did have a little bit of feel because especially that one corner three he had, Kentucky was feeling good. They were chirping, which by the way, I'll talk about again. The front running allegations aren't going to be good for this Kentucky team. Uh, yeah, he had that corner three when they cut it to 10, which pushed it back to 13. I thought was massive as well. Very timely.
Yeah. 100%. Trying to think if we've missed anything from a player perspective. Cohen, 6, 6, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, a block and a steal. I thought he was engaged defensively in this game. However, he's still doing the thing where he's like getting beat and using his athleticism to erase it. He got beat
Mhm.
baseline and then got the chase down block to save himself. Um, had a couple clean blocks that they ended up calling fouls for. So where are we at with Cohen? Do you need anything more than this from Cohen?
Do I want more? Yes. In this one, did we need more? Not necessarily. I also think, and I'm working on a theory here, if Fears is going to control the game in the half court like this, do you really like what does that do for Cohen? You know what I'm saying? Like if Fears is just kind of running everything in the half court, making the play, making the pass, you don't really need Cohen, you don't really want him making decisions necessarily. And I thought in this game he kind of was in like that weird middle area, and he's like, do I drive? Do I throw it into the post? Like, what do I do? And it was just like looking a little bit like thought process until it was time to dunk. Then it was showtime in that mother. But besides that, uh, I don't know. Obviously I think you want more from Cohen, but in this one it wasn't needed.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, of course I want him to like be better and have more impact, sure, but like my conclusion is you do not need more from Cohen Carr to be really good, which is amazing because like that means the team is running through Fears, who's going to do this every game, Kohler, who's going to do this every game. I think you know what to expect from Cooper and Carr at this point. Carr's going to be the best transition finisher in America, and Cooper's going to be really tough. And it might not be pretty at all times, but those guys are part of this team's identity, even without, 20-point nights. But I think it's good. I think you're right in the half court right now. Feels like when the ball ends up in Cohen's hands in the half court, it usually is a win for the defense still. I just don't
Mhm.
think he knows what to do or has any answers. It usually results in like a one dribble pull up from the elbow, and it's pretty open, but those are not good shots. Those are not analytically good shots, and he just doesn't make them. So to me, you don't like they're finding answers anyway. The half court offense is working well because Fears is such a genius. Um, but I don't really see it changing much, and I don't think it should, right? Michigan State's operating at such a high level right now. I think like getting more production offensively from Cohen Carr is probably very low on their list. So I guess from where we were in the offseason, or at least some optimistic State fans, this is probably a different output than some expected. But
I
I
think so.
I think
I
this is
think, but
good.
I think it's different. I think it's good. I also think it's because people sometimes don't want to get to a certain spot with certain players on this team.
Meaning what?
Dog Jackson's incredible.
Oh, like
Jackson's
he's better than anyone's giving him credit for.
better than anyone's giving him credit for.
Yeah.
And like you should just embrace what it is and embrace how fun it is too. Like this is the typical Michigan State player you want to get behind. Like guy, 4 years. People sometimes have different opinions on who he is. He has improved every single year. And in his senior season, where he's being asked to step up, Tom Izzo said that at the first game. He's like, I put my seniors in this spot. I believe in them. It's their turn to meet me there, meet me halfway and step up. Early on in the season, I get that. But Kohler's giving you 16 and 11 right now.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He really
Like
has.
it's really good. And his rebounding was off in this basketball game. I was surprised he didn't get more boards. I looked at it afterwards. I was like, he only had 5 rebounds, but yeah, just really good player, man.
Yeah, he's amazing. I look at Cohen's 4 game small sample size alert, I know. But I look at Cohen's just overall profile this year compared to last year. He's playing 10 more minutes a game. The best way to look at like overall how much has his game like improved or changed, I think, is to look at per 40s. Now I know this kind of becomes a butt of a joke when we do this, but just looking at like, okay, what did 40 minutes of Cohen Carr look like last year in a 20-minute a game role versus what does 40 minutes of Cohen Carr look like this year in a 30-minute a game role? Assists are way up. Like the one thing that has objectively really been added or changed here, he's from 1 assist a game to 4 assists a game in 40 minutes. That like he is showing playmaking chops I don't think we ever saw. Now on a team where Jeremy Fears is averaging double-digit assists, you don't even really need that, but it's nice to see. He's definitely blossomed there. Everything else is down. He's down as a scorer per 40. He's down as a rebounder. I think he's identical as a rebounder, 7 to 7.1. Same thing. He's down in all percents from the floor, from three, from free throw, and turnovers are up. So he's basically the exact same guy, little less efficient through 4 games with added passing. I don't think that's what anybody expected would be like the jump for Cohen. So just I would file this in the like let's keep monitoring this. But from my perspective, two things are true. Cohen is not a different player. Cohen doesn't need to be, which is great because the sell coming into the year was like Cohen's going to be the guy that changes our ceiling. It's Kohler and Fears' team, I think,
Mm-hmm.
with some loud, fun Cohen Carr moments mixed in, but that's a lot more sturdy to me on a night to night basis.
Yeah, and I think too, like just to wrap that point, I think there was confusion on we were looking for somebody to beat the person, and we're like, oh, it needs to be Cohen. But if it's gonna be others, and Cohen can just be Cohen, that can be a good basketball team.
Hell yes, brother. Hell yes. Carson Cooper, what'd you think of his performance in this game? Because you just read a box score. He was 2 points on 7 shots, 6 rebounds, 1 block, 2 assists. I thought he punked Brandon Garrison, to be honest with you, and the box score might not show it.
Yeah, I was the 1 for 6 part, or sorry, 1 for 7. I was a little bit surprised that I like the aggression from him. He did try to punch on Diabate, which I like. I
That sequence
love
was funny.
that was funny because Diabate started trying to talk that talk, and I was like, we want to raise our voice when we're down, huh? Interesting. But yeah, I like that sequence. I like the play from Carson, and to be honest with you, if we would have just came on here and you just asked me straight up like, did you like Carson's game? I'd be like, yes, loved it for what it's worth. I loved it. So yeah, the box score maybe doesn't show it, but yeah, he was a part of the front court punking that happened to Kentucky's basketball team. I mean, the one of the honestly, I'm glad he went 1 for 7 because it gave me one of the funniest clips I've ever seen in my life of Brandon Garrison just staring at the hoop as Carson Cooper misses 2 footers and gets them back 3 times in a row. Hilarious basketball.
I have a real appreciation for Carson Cooper this year. I don't know how you watch this game and don't come away like I like this guy because look, he's Carson Cooper, right? He's the guy that started on the B team at IMG that has come in as a 0 star and come in as a third center on a team with Madi Sissoko and just developed, just worked and gotten better and better and better while being the butt of the joke for 4 years. He's tough, man. He's
He
so
is, dog.
tough.
Like he's got a black eye from practice. He split his nose in this game or something. Like he breaks his nose every 5 games.
Yeah,
I have been a part of the butt of the jokes, but I've let it go at this point. It's just it's Coop, man. That's my center.
he's just
If we, you
gotten
know what I'm saying? At the
better.
end of the day, the kid tries extremely hard. He worked hard. He stuck it out. And you know what? Like we haven't had a center as coordinated and physical and as athletic because Coop is athletic too at the same time as him in a long time. And I know it's been some bad centers in the past, but like it's just you got to just respect what Coop has done.
Yeah, he's gotten better and better and better and turned into a legitimate guy. And I mean, reminder, Brandon Garrison is going to get a lot of criticism, rightfully so. Brandon Garrison was a 5 star recruit at McDonald's All-American. And Carson Cooper just, I thought, tortured him. Not from a production standpoint, but from a you got to deal with me standpoint,
Mhm.
physically. And he sets the tone, man. He's reliable. He can play 25 minutes a game. He's averaging 10 and 5 with 2 assists, a steal, and a block right now. And this was not his best game by any means, but he's just a legitimate player. I'm happy for him. I give him a lot of credit because the one thing you got to marvel at with this Michigan State program and team right now, the development is so real. The development of all these guys is just so real. Kohler and Cooper have just gotten so much better, and Fears has gotten better, and everyone in this program is going to keep getting better because that's what you do at Michigan State, and it's just amazing. It's deserves a lot of respect and flowers, even from rival fans like me. Anything else on Michigan State before we pivot to maybe the more exciting part of this conversation for you?
I think it's time for the pivot.
Where do you want to start?
Hmm. I mean, a lot of different places. I wish I just had a wheel of options and just spun it and just decided where to start. You want to pick? Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the number one thing you learned about this group of Kentucky players? I don't want anything on Pope yet because that's a whole separate convo. We'll have it a lot today. But this group of players, this $22 million bill of players, what did you learn about this group of players?
Hmm. I'm in between light in the ass and soft. Let's go with soft. Let's go with soft.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And maybe even more mentally than physically.
So I think I'm going to try and play facilitator through this. I agree with a lot of your thoughts, but I think it's you deserve the moment of kind of having this conversation, being that it's your team that beat them and being that you're the one that knew this coming in. Uh, can I share some of the things you were texting and sending in the Discord that you didn't say on the preview,
Yeah.
the PG version?
Hmm.
So in the preview, I was so confused. If you go back and watch this, because Carter explicitly said, I think Michigan State's better than Kentucky. I don't care what the analytics say. Michigan State is better than Kentucky. And I called it out. I was like, this makes no sense. Kentucky's 30 spots higher on Ken Palm. They lost to Louisville. Like Michigan State hasn't looked good in their bye games. How can you possibly feel this way? They're 5 point underdogs, blah, 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 blah. I think I remained confused in the preview because you were smartly not willing to say the real reason you felt this way.
It also
After,
wasn't just you. Others were confused too, by the way.
after that video, I left that video truly like I'm confused. What the math is not mathing for me on why Carter's so confident here. After that video, in the next 24 hours, it came out either privately in text to me or in the Discord to a couple people that pay to be Sleepers community members. That the base premise of why you were confident that Michigan State's better than Kentucky is that Kentucky is both mentally and physically soft as hell. You have seen this. You thought the way they got blitzed against Louisville and every little moment that they've had since, the way they talk, the way they act, the way they carry themselves, the eye test you've seen on the court, and just even the history of who these players are. I mean, don't get me wrong, Otega Owe is like a tough guy that we've believed in. He no-showed the Louisville game. But speaking for you, Colin Chandler, Brandon Garrison, Cam Williams, Jasper Johnson, even Denzel Aberdeen, who's a national champion. I think personnel-wise, in your mind, you just weren't afraid of it all, and you thought they would get absolutely punked by a team as tough as Michigan State. You didn't want to say that on record. I don't blame you. In the preview, that's a little more mean than I think we would normally be.
Mhm.
Ultimately, though, knowing that, okay, that now makes your thoughts make sense. That's what you meant. And what you meant was exactly what happened, right? So
Yeah.
I guess, can you just now maybe go down the path that you weren't willing to go in the preview and explain what you mean of this team?
So the thing is, like when you use the word soft, everyone thinks about like physical stuff. And for me, it was more of even the mental part of it. It was head down. It was getting on barking at each other down 14 in the huddle. It was panning to everybody's faces as this was going on, and everyone looked like they just witnessed their first puppy die in front of their eyes. It was a team that I think, they get a lot of credit for coming back against Louisville in that game and making it close. that was a fake run right there. That wasn't meeting adversity head on and wanting to compete and wanting the game. And they just struck me as a team. And even given the comments from Pope, when you're coming and mentally coming into big games, you have to be ready for that moment. Didn't Mark Pope say himself before the Louisville game that this team was not ready to go? In few, or maybe in a different terms or different words, but this team mentally was in a weird spot in that game. You don't want to show up to play Michigan State at MSG and be in a weird mental spot because we will make that mental spot look like a mental ocean, legit. And that's what happened in this basketball game. Really, what it was.
Michigan State is definitely, again, talking players, but this starts with the coach. Michigan State is a program and a group of players that will sniff out fear. They will
Yeah.
sniff out uncertainty. They will sniff out a lack of trust.
Can I give you a moment on this one?
Please.
Last year you said this, but I think it reigns true as a Michigan State program. It's not the team to figure it out against.
No,
If you don't know who you are and you're confused, it's not the team to feel good and figure it out about yourself. It
no.
won't it'll look like this.
You cannot come into games against Michigan State in November or March or anywhere along the way not knowing who you are
Yeah.
or having any uncertainty on what your identity is. And yeah, I think it's difficult to put your finger on with Kentucky right now because quite frankly, Mark Pope's words after these games are so confusing. Like we'll do other videos on it today, but he's just saying a bunch of weird stuff. He was crushed. I've not seen a coach look so defeated after a November loss ever. And it does make you wonder, like, is there something we're all missing that has happened behind the scenes, or is he just not emotionally cut out for this? I tend to think it's the second part. I think this is a guy that cares so deeply about Kentucky and was a player there and just kind of resonates with the fan base, but isn't confident enough in himself. And the roster, like he knows he built a roster that's not good enough. He's now
Mhm.
feeling the pressure of that. I think he's going to get suffocated by BBN's pressure this year. And I hope I'm wrong because I don't enjoy watching a person squirm like that.
Yeah, like look, Mark Pope's a good guy. He doesn't deserve like I've at the same time when I texted you and I was like, all right, what is this? Like everyone's like, oh, Mark, woe is me. At the same time, like, damn, it's the fourth game of the season in November. You got a lot of
Yeah.
more season. You better tighten up, man. It's Kentucky. Like you got a lot more in front of you. And honestly, even outside of the moment that I talked about with what I think about this Kentucky team. Look, Mark Pope doesn't do good defenses. We know that. All right. It was really bad in this game. Like you want it to be better? Yes. But where's the Mark Pope offense stuff? This team cannot shoot from two and or three. Your best player does not look like an All-American SEC preseason player of the year. And then you're leaning on other players to step up, and no one's ready to do that because they're probably also looking at their leader, who maybe they think is Otega Oweh. I don't know if Oweh thinks he's the leader of this basketball team either, and he's not playing up to the level they need him to play.
Owe looks pretty pouty to me right now. I had the body
Was.
language moment at the press conference. And look, if I'm trying to put myself in Otega's shoes, I think Otega is frustrated feeling like this isn't what he signed up for. Now, that's a
It's
go ahead.
no, I was just say it's weird though with Oweh though because like I think it was Matt McCall who said this on the field of 68. He's a dog. Like he is. Like he's mentally made
Yeah.
up like that. And I thought you saw that last year. And this year it's just not there. It's like the fire in the eyes is not there. And I don't know what that's attributed to, but it's not like this isn't a guy who I expect not to like. Yes, maybe he has a bad shooting night and something like that, but to not compete, kind of, and to your point, look a little floaty out there and not have that fire in his eyes and his game is something that is not an attribute of his game.
If I had to put myself in his shoes, this would be my, I guess, analysis of it. I truly think he's in a spot where he feels like this isn't what he signed up for. He turned down probably being a second round pick in the NBA for a big paycheck to come back to Kentucky, largely thinking I'm going to be surrounded by some really talented players.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, when he turned that down, I don't even think the Kentucky roster was formally set yet. So, on paper, and I don't want to make these guys were missing excuse, but on paper, I think Owe thought he was signing up to play next to Jalen Lowe and Jaden Quaintance and just a team that's a lot more talented than this. And I think he was looking around at points last night, realizing this team is playing through Colin Chandler. He postponed his professional career to play with Colin Chandler and Brandon Garrison. Now he probably should have known, like, and also that's a very woe is me approach. But I would say from watching him for 4 games, Otega always been very woe is me. So he's going to have a choice to make here on whether he decides to snap out of it and put his head down and keep persevering. We've seen him do that in the past, but if I had to try and explain the why behind why is he carrying himself this way, it's got to be that, and there is some truth to that. I think like this is not the Kentucky team of last year, just in terms of dogs that are available, like Lamont Butler and Jackson Robinson and Kobe Brea and Andrew Carr and Amari Williams were all 23 years old with a sense of urgency, with better skill sets than this year's team has. So maybe Otega should have seen this coming. Maybe he should stop pouting anyway and get his head out of his ass. But
Yeah.
that
And
that's my view on it.
it's a tough spot to be in because like how do you not pull the dollar amount card with this team?
Yeah, we're seeing that at a lot of places, even beyond
And, and
Kentucky.
and look, I hate it. I really do because I think that you should compensate players. I really understand that. I get it. I'm pro player in this regard. A lot of Michigan State fans love to do the this is why we don't use the portal. This is why we don't. Okay, relax. All right, the national champion last year had 3 portal players starting while also having guys they developed in their own program. You can do a little bit of both. It works. You can do it. Um, but it's like, damn, man. Like you are the highest paid roster in the sport. And this is the return. This is the ROI.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was seeing graphics circulate on my timeline last night that were like price of this roster, 22 million Kentucky, 3.5 million Michigan State. And Michigan State fans were sharing it like, hell yeah. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that either because listen, an extra 3 million on this roster, we might have something.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The point I get, and it's impressive. No one at Michigan State is at Michigan State playing for a price check primarily. They're playing for Michigan State, a true care for this university. That's special. It's cool. It's more powerful than any roster that's been bought. You can't buy a culture. That's very clear at this point. Tom Izzo was right about all of this. However, we're also hearing that Michigan State's new freshman class is coming courtesy of a new endless ATM.
Yeah.
Trust me, you're going to feel like you bought a culture and you're going to like the culture. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be we did this with no money. It just doesn't. It might be objectively true in this specific game. But last point on the money side of this, and I am taking this directly from one of my favorite follows on Twitter. Let me make sure I get his handle correct. I sent it to our group chat last night. You probably know where I'm headed with this. It's from Kev at Kev Luke the Great
Oh,
on Twitter.
shout out my
Uh,
guy Kevin, man.
22 mil look a lot different in Cal's hands than it does in Mark Pope's hands.
Put that on. Put someone hang the banner.
It's a bar, but it's also, Card, it's 100% true.
Yes.
Like we are at peak NIL transfer portal era. Kentucky, for really the first time in the era, said we're going to put up $22 million. We're going to spend more than anyone else in the sport by millions of dollars, by like 6 million more than anybody else did. What are you going to build, Mark? And Mark said, you know what? This is how I want to build my roster. I want the center with the torn ACL. Hopefully, he'll be back by January. I want the Pitt point guard with the efficiency problem. I want Todd Golden's fourth best guard. I want the only player in Nate Oates' system that can't shoot. And outside of that, I'll take all my role players. We can just pay them. Like it on paper, it's a disaster. Even
Right.
even when healthy, on paper, it's a disaster. It's
Right.
crazy.
It's a tough situation to be in because look, you and I came on here and we're not going to switch up on here. We're like, all right, it's Mark Pope. The thing about this is he is a guy that's shown last year he could get the best out of his guys. when you don't get the best out of guys, you know what you have? You have a roster full of role players.
It's crazy.
And the players that aren't supposed to be your role players aren't playing well. So now you have guys who aren't supposed to be role players playing like role players, which means you have a roster full of role players and role players that don't play hard.
Yeah, it's crazy. It dawned on me when watching this game. This might be an oversimplification, but it dawned on me that like maybe this might be too harsh on the Michigan State side of things. I felt like I was watching two separate groups of players. And for one of the first times ever, felt like nobody on either side would play if they switch sides. You know what I mean?
Like you switch rosters.
Yeah, or not even like if you switch rosters, obviously they have to play. But like if you ask Tom Izzo, does he want any Kentucky players? I think he would obviously look at Otega Owe, but like no, they're all too soft.
Yeah.
Like none of you would be a fit for me. You're soft.
Hmm.
And then I think like on the flip side, I don't know that Mark Pope would look at anyone on Michigan State and be like, I would spend money on him. Like and maybe he should, right? Jeremy Fears would definitely help his team. Jackson Kohler would be the best big on Kentucky. But at the
Hmm.
same time, like the way Mark Pope wanted to spend his money this year, he wouldn't be spending money on guys like that.
Right.
So
It's the way it's the approach of it, which I think that's the problem. That's the issue here with Pope.
yeah, it's just kind of crazy. It was funny for me to like have that realization as it happened. And look, the other thing is just point blank, none of these guys are a good style fit for Pope's system. Diabate should not play in a Mark Pope system.
Yeah. So that brings us back to why you
I
did this.
don't know.
You
Yeah, I
did
don't
this,
know.
and this is the worst part about this is you talked about this. The- I see a man that is right now breaking already under the pressure in on November 19th in
Yeah.
year two. Greg, I saw a Kentucky big board tweeted out today for the next coach. It's not a fan base to be in this spot in, man.
No. No,
You can't, you
on a
can't, you can't,
personal level,
right. You can't do that, man. You can't bring your team to MSG and score 60.
I'm worried about him. And look, this is also not like, oh, they never should have fired Cal. Cal almost lost to Winthrop last night. Like, it's not exactly that conversation. It's just it's weighing on him so much. You can see it, and he's handling it really weird. And it's not working. It's not working with this team whatsoever. For Kentucky, is it just get healthy? It doesn't feel like there's any sort of fix coming to this other than get healthy, and we don't know how long Lowe's going to be out.
See, that's the scary part about it is Lowe might be out for a while, right? JQ's a rim protector. Guys are scoring away from the rim right now.
JQ would help, I think, though, because JQ is on paper tough,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yes,
He's got a reputation as like the best defensive big in the country.
he does. I'm scared about it, and this feels wild to say. I'm scared about him being with this Kentucky, like I'm scared about this being like a foundational issue with this team.
Like there's just something rotten at the core.
Like you just like you know what I'm saying, if you're around something for so long, you start to pick up habits and you know tendencies of what's going on around you, and it wears on you too.
Yeah.
So it does, but like look, like I said, it does help for sure. Like they do need to get healthy, but there's so many bigger issues outside the health that it's like that ain't gonna fix everything.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Anything else on Kentucky?
What's the offensive stuff right now?
A lot of freedom, clearly. Denzel Aberdy used that freedom to shoot a bunch of pull up off the dribble threes with a hand in his face.
An air ball.
Yeah, I don't know.
Offense looks terrible.
I mean, I think they look infinitely better with Malachi Moreno in the game. I would say that. Like that's a short-term thing you could change. Go to more Moreno. Um, Brandon Garrison probably shouldn't ever play again, but they don't have a choice until JQ gets back.
Yeah. Or go
Also, that
small.
clip that's going around of Garrison just getting beat for three straight rebounds. Otega always also standing outside the paint watching.
Yeah. Or a lot of standing and watching for
Like
the
no
Bobcats.
nobody. Yeah.
It's bad, man. Tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Okay. What does your gut say? Does Kentucky just crash and burn this year, or does this get right at all?
So to me, when I look at basketball teams that are crashing and burning, it's looking to somebody to be the to spearhead the stopping of the crashing and burning. Who is that? Because right now, I don't think it's Mark Pope. He just looks like he wants to curl up in a ball. It would have to be an Ortega, I think, which I actually think it could be, but I don't even know what crashing and burning looks like for this Kentucky team. Like, I don't think it's like missed the tournament
Yeah.
or
I
is it?
mean, you don't think the team you saw last night could miss the tournament?
I can't picture a Kentucky basketball team
They got
miss.
North Carolina, Gonzaga, Indiana, and St. John's left in the non-con. They go 1-3 in those. They finish the non-con. One, two, three. They would finish the non-con 8-5 going into SEC play.
SEC might not be all that great.
Yeah, but they're 500 in the SEC is definitely possible.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it could be. The thing is, if they miss the tournament, they actually might fire Pope.
Yeah, I think it would be an overreaction to say they will, but team I saw last night was not a tournament team.
Yeah, that's fair.
Team I saw in the first half against Louisville was not a tournament team.
Mm-mm.
Maybe the team with JQ and Lowe together will be a tournament team, but also, are we ever going to see those two together? Is that guaranteed?
I don't think so. Look, at the end of the day, Trat, this y'all go. This is to BBN directly. Y'all go regroup. Y'all go regroup. Y'all go figure it out. I'll be here. I don't know when y'all want to schedule us again. I don't know when the next Champions Classic is gonna be, and what the matchups will be. But y'all just let us know when y'all are ready. Go get your ducks in order. Go get your Wildcats in line, and then we can run it back.
I've like a couple quick hitters before we close. Sorry, I do have to ask you a few things. Josiah Jervis in the locker room. Apparently, he like had some game yesterday and then was watching courtside and then in the locker room celebrating with a smile on his face. You want to just speak to your future shooting guard at all?
Can't wait for you to get on campus, think,
Thought noteworthy wise, his family had huge smiles on their face. Josiah was not smiling during this game.
because you want to be out there competing.
Yeah, or maybe he was a little bummed that the shooting guards he's supposed to replace popped off.
I hate you.
It looks like, oh, the immediate help coming, right? Well, Kurt Tang had something for that in this game. Just saying.
He'll get a little bit more rest.
Yeah, just saying. No, it was cool to see. I'm so jealous of you right now. What else do we have? I had one other question. What's the ceiling for this Michigan State team?
Higher than it was than I initially thought.
Yeah, so what is it? Last year's team had a national championship ceiling. Took us a while to realize that, but it was true.
I don't think it's a national championship ceiling. I I do think that this team could make a Final Four.
I made title tiers for Bleacher Report, our show this afternoon. There's three title tiers. Michigan State's in one of them. I'm not saying it's likely, but like I, team I saw last night, man, can do a lot of good things.
Hey, you never ever know. Can I ask one last thing here?
You can do whatever you want. You're a winner.
Got it. What the dude do who was like shooting like 97% this summer?
Oh, Trent Noah?
Yeah,
Yeah, he had zero on zero attempts in 10 minutes. He's shooting 2 for 7 from three this year.
okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Mountain Mamba.
What's going on with Kentucky's recruits again, by the way?
They're all looking elsewhere.
They don't
That's
leave
enough.
for
That's
Tyron
a
Stokes anymore, and they
oh,
don't leave for Caleb Holt anymore. Yeah.
that's a whole nother thing. You see how my dog Jervis was in the locker room celebrating, doing whatnot? There ain't no way Tyron Stokes is watching this giddy as hell to play for this.
No
Ain't
chance.
no way.
Yeah, no chance. How good would Kurt Tang look in a Mark Pope offense, though?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I feel like I had one other thing that I'm missing on this. Oh, it's gonna eat at me when I don't remember it. Do you have any words for Jimmy Jam? Jimmy Jam called us out, and Jimmy Jam is
Listen,
nowhere to be found now.
it is well. The thing is, I don't know if Jimmy Jam has or knows of social media, but uh, all I'll say is this: the
I
big.
don't. You don't think Jimmy Jam knows of social media?
No, I don't. To be honest with you, the war's over. The war is over. It wasn't even a war to begin with, but if we had to declare a winner, it'd be me. And I hope all of us can just go our ways amicably and be the best in our set fields.
Go watch Jimmy Jam show, man. I tuned in a little bit last night. It was good. They did a big recap. Him and it was him and Miss Lee. They did a nice recap of Kentucky's 17-point loss to Michigan State. So, yeah, I always try to encourage people to support other content creators. This can be a tough game. And I think, even you Michigan State fans listening to this would really enjoy Jimmy Jam's show with Miss Lee. So go check it out. Maybe he'll check out our show with the National Player of the Year this week. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
So,
listen, it's always good to see it through other people's eyes. Our
yeah,
eyes, um, the 75 and up demographic eyes, they have covered, so that'd be great.
yeah. Congrats, Cart.